All right, hello, hello, hello. I don't have much voice, so I'm not going to be able to talk too much here. That might be a pleasure to some people. Hello, Rasmus. How are you? Good to see you. All right, so we'll try to keep the talking a minute because of the voice, but we're working on the articulated dump truck to go with the front end loader for Alistair's challenge. So you should go out and check out Alistair's Discord. Hopefully, get that challenge out somewhere soon. But it was a fun challenge to participate in. So go ahead and take a look at what we got done yesterday. I did a couple things off screen. I added a tailgate just because I don't like the way the funnels look, so I'm trying to cover those up a little bit. But let's go take it for a quick drive. All right, so here's the dump truck. And then it will lift the bed. All right, so it's coming along pretty well here. Um, trying to think where I left off yesterday. Could be a little bit taller if I need it to be. I'm trying to look. I think I've got it where I want it. I'm trying to remember what I ended up finishing up last night. But this has a pretty big capacity. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11 times 3 is 33 times 27. That's 891 capacity. How's it going there, Jason? How are you? So it's got a pretty good capacity on here. So that will keep the number of trips to the dump site I have to make to a minimum. So let's go ahead and I'm going to rework the tailgate. If I could effectively cover these up, I would do that, but I might just do a tailgate. There are a bunch of these with tailgates, so I'll probably end up just doing a tailgate. Trying to come up with a system I like here. Just trying to figure this out. I'm not gonna be able, like I said, I'm not gonna be able to talk too much because my voice is gone. Let's count this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's looking pretty good so far. Trying to think how to make Yeah, that's alright. Rasmus, glad you're here today. Started doubling these up. I'm gonna just keep going with that, I think. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm gonna check on something real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, just some cats thudding to the ground. Alright, let's I'd like to get some sort of piston in on this, but I'm gonna figure it out. That's pretty good. I like that. That's good. I like that. That's all right. All right, so that's got a tailgate on there. I'm trying to figure a way to get a piston in there. If I can. All right, I got to remember the connection on this. So what I've got, the way I've got this tailgate going is it starts in the up position. And then let's look right here. All right, so it's going to start at -1. So as soon as it spawns in game, it's going to go to -1. So we need -1 as the down position. All right. Yep, so that's going to be -1 as the down position, and then as this goes up, it goes up. So might do this too. All right, so that closes up on its own. And then as we raise it up, it's going to open the tailgate. Okay, I've got an idea on the tailgate for pistons. Yeah, I'm going to probably do no pistons right now. All right, good. Starting to shape up. Hello, Jay. How are you? How's it going, Raider? All right, so it's starting to shape up nicely. All right, I'm gonna bring up some pictures again to try to get some color going here. So it's all yellow, but try to decide. Might do the top half there as black still. Yeah, retracted and extended version of the pistons would be awesome. Then you could make a bunch of cooler stuff. Let's redo the fuel system. Do I even care to redo the fuel system? Probably not. I need to limit the turn limiter, or I'd like a smaller fender on this. What I'd like. Can't really move the fender in at all. I gotta check the turn limit on this. Stop. What's that? 0.27. I've had never had any issues with pivots being too weak. Never once have I had an issue with pivots being too weak. I only ever use pistons as decorations. Fuck, the roof's sitting there. I gotta restrict the turn again for the roof. Damn. Yeah, I don't know why people are having such problems with pivot weakness. I've never had any issues with pivot weakness. That's not hitting. Oh, it's not hitting there. Not hitting there. Good. Yeah, I've never had any issues. I don't know why people have issues. I've never had them. I'm not gonna be able to simulate it. The space. Maybe under there. Yeah, I could do it here. That one pipe is in my way, but I can move that. All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna have enough spot to put it though. A little bit more black on the build. That looks so funky. Yeah, it looks funky. I like this one, but the other one not gonna look right. This battery needs to move. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Use whatever works for you, but I've never had any issues with it. Boys, had no problems with just using hinges and shit. Let's fix some electrical issues. All right, I want to kick the gear ratio up a little bit more. And then I want to decrease the max RPS probably. So currently it goes to 15. Let's give it a run, see what it looks like. This build came together pretty quick. For those who didn't see it yesterday, it was pretty much I took all the micros from the loader. Alright, runs at about, let's say 880. .6. Okay. Let's do a max speed run. I keep the max speed about where it is. So we're doing 18, okay. Okay, I turned the wrong gearbox. Oh, I went the wrong way. That's why. Okay. I went the wrong way. All right. Alright, we're doing 22 now, so if I back this up to... say about 800. $13, okay. Alright, so we're still a little bit faster and it cuts our RPS down a little bit. That's good. Got a pretty good turn in circle. Got a very good capacity. At first I was talking yesterday about maybe making a bigger one, but this has such a big capacity, I don't need a bigger one. Alright, so I'm gonna start writing some notes down on what I need to work on here. Wish I had paper with me. Lost one of my notebooks. I don't know where it is. Let's see. Alright, we need the tip sensor. Or tip controller. We need badging. Badging. What else? What else? What else? Horn. Just check the lights, make sure the lights are plumbed and working. Good. Hazards are going. High beams, yep, I saw those go up. Work light front. Rear work lights aren't gonna hit right, so I gotta put them on the bed. Rear works to bed. Camera, if I can, in bed. To bed. Alright, start working on that stuff. Alright, so in cross cam off. Alright, rear works to bed. Tips. Add the funnels to here. Right. thing I like about dump trucks. It's so easy to hide microcontrollers. Will I start another multiplayer? Yes, I'd like to at some point if I have time. That's one reason I want to slap together some builds is hopefully to get some multiplayer. That'd be fun. But yes, yeah, you can bring your stuff. Move that over one, I'd say. 2, 2, okay. I think that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah. Couldn't get it as fat as I wanted. That's better there. That covers this hole there. I like to put cylinders in there. I just don't have the space. I could knock the cab out one more. That's actually what I think I'm gonna do. That I don't think I'm gonna knock the cab out one more, but it'd be a little annoying to do. But I'll do it. I could put a longer top on there now too if I wanted. I don't want that high. It's not gonna work there. It's gotta be here if it's gonna do it. Scheiße. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get in there, I don't think. Not the way I want. It'd have to be down here, I think. There are presets, but you mostly do the building. That's kind of the point of the game. Make your own stuff. Yeah, good. So we don't have full strut compression. I can go a little bit more turn, which I want. That's better. That looks good. All right. Little details like that add a lot. All right, we need to increase this steering. Let's go to also it gives me a little space to add some extra black components. All right, so I've got daylight there. So that's 3/8. Check the other way. All right, so 3/8 will work on both sides. My God. All right, so now we got some more turning capability as well. I would love to see a copy cut tool that could act on single body. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I like that. That looks good now. It has a steering mechanism there. I don't like how abrupt that is, but I can't do anything about it, so. I think it looks good. Alright, so what else is on my list? Badging's on, horn. I want to fix the dome light. Okay. Lighting. Horn should be in the hot bus. Good. All right, let's change up the shifter. All right, now that's going to be the shifter, which is what I do on most of my stuff, is up, down. Should have a better turning radius now. Good speed there. Not ridiculous. Brakes. Have the rear view camera there between the tires so we can back up to see where we're backing up to. I did not grip these tires. I should probably grip the tires. Put that on my to-do list. Just threw my pen across the room. Alright, grip tires. Alright, back work lights are on now. So it shows the bed so front end loader can see where they're going to. The temp is barely climbing because there's not a lot of load on the engine. With the front end loader, you have to worry about the drill. This one you don't, so it's pretty easy. Let's check the approach angle. Approach angles, is it going to hit the front bumper? Barely, but it's pretty good. hard to see the angle, how extreme the angle is. A little bit of clearance on that, but I like that's an extreme angle. Not gonna really worry about that. Like that's more realistic there, so not worried about this real sharp ass corner here. But even without grip tires, it's doing pretty well. Yeah, so it performs really well. Make sure the tip's working. Okay, so what's happening there, this Phantom Force, is likely we're at the max of the pistons. So again, people will be like, oh, buggy game, all that nonsense. Got to look at how far the pistons are extending, and eventually they're not going to be able to extend anymore, so that's my design issue. It's not really a game issue, so we'll have to work on that. Because it's causing a phantom force here. So what I can do is I can limit the angle. Like the angle on this is already more than it needs to be when it's fully up. So like see how it's bending? Watch the frame here. See the frame? See how it bends? So that's a phantom force because you're essentially breaking it. I'm pulling this beyond where it should. So right there is about the max it should go. So if you design your stuff correctly, you won't have these phantom forces. And then part of the problem is it looks like it's hitting here. So that could be a part of it too, but this looks like it's all right now. Let's check the 7. So we'll limit the limit tip to 0.7. Alright, so that fixes the Phantom Force problem there. Again, like, people want to blame the game for the Phantom Forces. It's like, you need to design your build to not have that problem as well. You can't just blame it all on the game all the time, you know? Trying to decide what I'm going to do with the brake lights here. All right, so that should fix any clipping going on here. That still doesn't stick out beyond, which is good. Keeps the orientation the way I like it. Let's see. Grip tires. Let's see what I want for tires on this. I tend to like the look of the high speeds for my off-road vehicles. And then let's go to 99. This is going to get really heavy once it is full of ore, so I need that in mind. Keep that in mind as well. All right, so I'm going to search for grip. All right, here we go. Grip factor 0.99. All right, I'm going to make them 20. All right, now we should go through there and find none of them. Save it. All right, that's the end of it. We just want to make sure it drives all right after that. All right, so I got to fix the dome light. All right, so there we go, 20 miles an hour. Let's see, was that a CG issue? That was probably a center of gravity issue. Let's fix that. CG's a little high. Try to find a place to hide this CG corrector. Don't really want to put it in the bed. I'll put a cross brace in here and put it in here. In the cross brace. All right, so make the burn rate 1 so I can see it, and then 99. Alright, so here's burn rate right there. Fuel factor is 0.99. Copy that. And I'm going to make that 3,000. Let's see how that works. Alright, so it should be... Well, why didn't those attach this time? That's weird. Alright. It was the way it bounced because it's heavier. I'm gonna fix that. It wasn't twisting before. You would not want to drive around fast with your bed up. That's another thing that, you know, is taught when you drive a dump truck, which I've done. You got to be careful of that. Because you're putting the center of gravity up high again, and then you're trying to turn, and you're also shifting it rearward. It's not pitching too bad, so not gonna worry about it. Alright, so it's not doing the phantom forces anymore because, again, we're not causing something to, because in real life, if you were to stress that, you would break something. You'd break a metal component or you'd blow the piston. And in game, it doesn't have the code to break the parts, so it's got to put a phantom force in there because it's forcing two blocks together and it doesn't know what to do. And so, like, people are like, oh, dev should fix that. It's like, how? Like, they would have to code in to break stuff, and I know that would be fun and great and whatever, but it's not gonna happen, you know. All right, let's play with this a little bit. All right, so now because that center of gravity is nice and low, I do like that it kind of tilts like the front end loaders to tell you, hey, you're driving too fast, slow down. So if I shift 2 gears down, notice it just straightened out. Shift 1 more gear down, it's straightened out. So it's you know, it's telling you, hey buddy, slow down, you're going too fast, you know. And so that it, with the center of gravity low, it won't tip over, but it's gonna tell you by leaning that, hey man, you gotta slow down. So I like that. All right, let's play with the mining equipment a little bit. You know, it's the same thing with the loaders. Made the loader's center of gravity very low artificially so that, yes, you can drive around with your bucket up, and yes, you will tip over, but it's harder than it would be in real life. So people aren't like, poo, this sucks. You know, you fall right over, you know. Oh, the vehicles are sliding, yes. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Rasmus, yep. How's it going there, Jay? How are ya? I'm glad you like it. Alright, so again, I put it in the video of how you have to operate this. You have to be in first, second of gear. You have to be going forward. Um, and that's so that it's like a real loader. You have to drive forward. And then you can speed up to go to your next patch. And, I talk about slow being fast. Because we're in first gear and we're going quote-unquote slow, we stay on the patch longer. If we're going really fast, right, even if it's eating faster, let's say you're going 5 times faster in speed, you'd have to have the drill going 5 times faster to get the same amount of ore, which you don't have. So it's better to slow down and to take your time on that patch in first gear, and by doing that, you're going to get more ore. And you want to make sure you tip your bucket back, because remember the tilt. Oh my God, I can't talk. The tilt on this is based on the actual horizon. So if you put the bucket below the horizon, you are going to spill. This thing was super thirsty for fuel until I made it so that only in first and second gear you can drill. So ideally you want to drill only in first gear, and then as you're traveling you want to get out of first and second gear, because that's going to give you the longest period of the drill not running, so it saves you a lot of fuel. This will not overheat now. I've got 3 5x5 radiators in this. Part of that was for the challenge. I don't like stuff overheating in the challenge. I know Alistair doesn't get to that time period because it's he won't end up spending 20 minutes in the build long enough for it to overheat. But I wanted to make sure it didn't overheat at all, so that's usable, And this offers a little bit more of an interactive gameplay, the loader, because you actually have to kind of... Alright, so we're in first gear and you can hear we're not drilling, right? That tells us, hey, you're full. Because the drill will automatically shut off, so here we're not drilling. You can hear the engine revs went from 600 to 800, so we can go verify that. That's how we know we're full. I didn't want to put a stupid light or a button on there. You kind of have to be an operator. It's real quick and simple. Like, your RPM goes up, you hear the engine spool up, and the drill noise goes away. Hey, we're full. And it also allows you in first and second to drive a little faster now because you're not running the drill anymore. Yeah, my voice is gone. I got a cold and voice is gone. I'm glad I've got some days off, which is good for recovery. So like right now the ore is heavy, so the loader is a little bit tippy, as you can see. So you want to drive slowly with that bucket all the way up, just like you would IRL. Alright, I'm gonna try to get some pictures here. Them together. Trying to decide if I want this to be lighter, more like this color, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of dig. Oh my god, I can't talk. I kind of dig the lighter color. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or I'm sorry, I dig the darker color. So it doesn't take that long to drill. It's kind of fun that, like I have a lot of stationary miners where you sit there on the patch the whole time. I think that's fun how you have to kind of like drive to different spots. It gives it something different so that each miner has its own kind of like characteristics. We'll do this one all in first person this run. But you can do it all by sound. Like right now we're off the patch. Now we're on the patch. We're off the patch. You hear the drill start up. Alright, we're done drilling on that patch. Keep moving. Alright, so we're not drilling anymore. So we know that we're full. So we don't, like, I don't have to look outside. I don't have to go confirm it. I know I'm full. So it's time to go back. Now again, the way you would drive a front-end loader in real life is you keep that bucket nice and low because it's a tipping hazard if you bring it up. So you keep it low while you're driving. You want to line up for your dump truck. Alright, you want to go in a low gear, so you're slow. Then you want to start raising up your bucket, and you want to go just straight ahead with minor movements. You got the shadow. Now the shadow pretty much shows us we're there. Because now the bucket's obscuring the light from hitting the dump truck. Right, so we should have about, we should have 216 in there. You sucker. 216. All right, good. Let me read some chat. Yeah, I think these are a little bit more practical in multiplayer. Like, the problem with the huge machines in multiplayer was, like, people pretty much had to like be dump truck drivers because like a couple huge machines are going to be able to do all the drilling. This really helps to like diversify and give everybody some actual jobs they can kind of accomplish. One piece of machinery I'd love to build, another huge one, is drag link. But like this is good because this is pretty fast and you can just move from patch to patch, and so it gives you a little bit more, you know, if you want to do a little bit more driving, this is a good vehicle for that. Like if you want to just sit back and like sit on the patch and then just drill, you can do that on different vehicles. This one's more of a interactive vehicle where you're actually an operator and you got to go to and from the dump truck and you got to find the patches and you got to listen to listen for when the drill stops. Like if you look, the drill, the RPM goes back to about 600 when the drill's running. You notice when you get off the patch, it goes up, and then when your drill's not going to do an 800. So all you really have to do is like if you watch the RPM, you know what's going on. We're drilling. We're off the patch here in a second. We're off the patch. You can tell all that by RPM. And it saves a hell of a lot of fuel and heat by disconnecting the drill when you're not actively, when you don't need it, by driving in third or high gear. Plus you can move faster to get to the next patch. And this is all possible because of the recent updates the devs did. So the engine is controlling the drill that's in the bucket, and that's only possible because they added the small pivots with the RPS connection going through it, which is friggin' awesome. And you notice I have one down there because the hinge is doing the, I can't remember if the hinge is doing the drive or it's doing the bucket, but I needed two of those to be able to do the drill and the front wheels. Okay, so now we're in first gear. We're not drilling, and 800. We know we're full. So I think there's a good fill-up time for this too, because it's you know, you can go drill for a little bit, and then this drive kind of resets you and gives you something else to do. So it's not the same monotonous drill, drill, drill. You know, you're drilling, then you're driving out to the dump truck and dumping, then you're driving back out to the patch. You can see how this is a more interactive and fun and different experience than sitting on the patch and drilling. That's like when people say they get bored doing some of this stuff, doing different things is what makes it less boring. Switching up what you're doing helps with that. All right, so we don't want to come in fifth gear. Remember, fifth gear will do up to like 16 miles an hour. Go to first. That limits your speed. That's why I like a manual transmission. It's limiting your speed. We're just coasting now. When we get close, hit the brakes. We should be right over it. Yep. Put the parking brake on. Yeah, it's working well. Yeah, this is I'll show you a picture of it. This is kind of based off of the D25. It's an older school one. All right, guys, I think we'll finish up there. So this was some good testing of this. Looks like this is pretty much good to go. I would like to get into some multiplayer mining once kind of get some vehicles built, and if I have some time. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. It was good to see everybody. If you're new and you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. I'll give my voice a break. But it was great seeing everybody, and we'll see you next one.